even if all these big time schools were to give me an offer, I do think I would have went with West Point. I believe it's my duty to serve our country.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Sports Muse podcast. I am your host, Kevin Brumley. First things first, I want to give a special shout out to Clubhouse Cards that sponsors this show. That is where I got these helmets from, and also these frame jerseys behind me. I got them from Clubhouse Cards as well. I definitely recommend you checking them out. They're in South Hills, Pennsylvania. You can find their website in the description of this video, and you can also find them on my Instagram page. They have their own Instagram, their own website. Check them out, give them a look. Really cool stuff. To bring it to my guest today is one of the greatest running backs in the WPIAL history, quite possibly the greatest running back in Greene County history. He rushed for over 7,000 yards in his career. This past season, he rushed for over 3,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in a single season. My guest today is committed to Army, and his name is Ben Jackson. It's really cool to get him on the show. So what we're going to do, break down a little bit of film, and we're going to get right to the interview. So let's go. Okay, so you're looking at Ben Jackson. You're going, well, he's a big running back. Does he have speed? Well, let's see. He just outran the entire defense to the edge and takes it 80-plus yards for 6. Next question. Can Ben Jackson run with power? Well, let's see. He jukes out the defender, trucks a kid, makes 2 kids run into each other, and then takes it in for 6. Well, that's great. He's fast and he's strong, but is he agile? Well, he takes the carry here, and he's going to jump over another human being. And then he's going to outrun everybody else and take it for 6. Okay? And then this final highlight that we're going to see right here is just he shows a beautiful blend. Okay? He gets through the line, reads his blocks, trucks a kid. I mean, I feel bad for him. Stiff arms another and takes it in for 6 more. All right, guys. Like I said, today's guest is star running back for the West Greene Pioneers, Ben Jackson. Ben, how you doing today?
I'm doing real well. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing pretty well with everything considered. I'm actually getting a lot of projects done around the house, so I can't complain.
Yeah, we are too. Jackson's have been real busy around here. We're renovating our house a little bit. We're doing some rooms. So listen, it's all the time for us. I mean, we never have any days off here at the Jackson household. So we know how that feels.
So the first question I always ask is, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I was a West Greene, Pennsylvania kid. I always grew up here at West Greene. I lived here my whole life. My father grew up here. My mother grew up here. Met each other. Here I am. I love woodworking. That's something that not a lot of people know. I just enjoy being active around the house. Like I told you earlier, we're working on our house. We're renovating some rooms. I enjoy that stuff. I love building. I love woodworking. Some of my favorite things to do is just building cabinets. And I know it's kind of old school, but that's what I like to do.
No, that's cool. Yeah. That's definitely, it's always interesting. Like when, people's passion lines up with like actual things that like help, as far as
Right.
me, like I'm a super handy guy. So like my dad's really good with cars. So like when my car breaks down, if I take it to a mechanic, it's going to cost me an arm and a leg, but he fixes it. I'm like, I wish I could do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those things where that's going to help you in the long run, save you a ton of money throughout your life. So that's cool.
Thank you.
For people that don't realize, okay, so West Greene is in the same county where I went to school and I coached. Greene County's population right now is about 36,000. It's a pretty small county. It's not very big, and West Greene's pretty small. Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty spread out as far as a school district goes.
Yeah.
What was your graduation class?
Right now we have 40 kids, and we just had 2 kids come in this year. So it would have been 38. We had 2 kids fortunately move here from other school districts. So we're up to 40. That's
That's crazy.
38. Yeah, it really is crazy considering we have the second largest area in all of Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and we're graduating some of the lowest numbers. I mean, we see numbers drop year and year. When my mom was in school, they're graduating, close to 200 kids, and now we're down to 40, which is just crazy. It hasn't been that long, but hopefully, whenever I get my degree in architecture, I can come back here and create some more jobs. That's what I plan on doing. So.
And which leads me to my next point is, so we're from the same county, okay? And you might not know this, but I coached against you when you were in 8th grade.
Yeah, I didn't hear that until you mentioned that.
So
Yeah.
I coached against you, so I've watched you for a long time now. And my sister-in-law was a teacher at West Greene when you were there. My father-in-law was a teacher at West Greene when you were there. I've never heard anybody say a single bad thing about you or your family, which is rare because there's a lot of negativity in this world. But that kind of shows the character that you and your family has. You guys are upstanding people. And the fact that you say, I want to get a degree and I want to come back to West Greene of all places, and I want to, make it more attractable for people to live here, shows the kind of character that you have.
That's what I want to do. I want to get my architecture degree. I want to come back here. I want to start my own architecture firm, hopefully create some more businesses. And then with my architecture degree, I would like to not necessarily like renovate, but, restore some older buildings, make it more visually appealing, and then create some incentives for people to come here and really just get our numbers up. And with population growth comes economic growth. So that's my plan here in the future.
And that's awesome to
Who'd you
hear.
say?
What's
Thank
that?
you. Who's your stepfather again?
So my father-in-law is John Koss.
Oh yeah, I know exactly who that is. Yeah, he was my 6th grade math teacher.
Yep. So that's my father-in-law. My sister-in-law never had you because like when they were renovating West Greene, she was the librarian at the high school, and then when they switched everything around, she went down to the elementary when you went to the high school. So, but her name's Kim Brumley.
Oh yeah, she
Yep.
was. She was definitely the librarian. I remember her being there. Yep.
So
I
yeah.
remember that.
Okay, I have a question for you. What
Yes.
does Tony Dorsett, Shady McCoy, Tyler Boyd, LeVar Arrington, and Terrelle Pryor all have in common?
WPIAL boys.
They're all WPIAL boys, but they have something else in common.
I couldn't tell you. I don't
They
know.
have
Say
less.
what?
They have less career rushing yards than you.
Oh really? Did not know that.
Think about that list. You're talking about Hall of Famer Dorsett. You're talking about Shady McCoy, who could be a future Hall of Famer. I mean, was at times maybe the best running back in the NFL. Tyler Boyd currently plays wide receiver for the Bengals. LeVar Arrington, one of the biggest athletic freaks we've ever seen. Terrelle Pryor was the best player in high school in the nation when in 2008. You have more rushing yards than all those guys. How crazy is it to hear that?
Honestly, that hasn't even crossed my mind. But yeah, I don't know. That's definitely neat to think about. I don't know. I grew up, watching Tyler Boyd on TV playing in the championships, and Terrelle Pryor. I always my teachers. Some of my teachers always talk about watching him when he played. I don't know. I never really watched Terrelle Pryor play, but I wish I could have. That would have been really cool. But I do remember watching Tyler Boyd. That's a really nice or really neat point that you bring up. I haven't really thought about it, but that is crazy to think about, I guess.
And I actually had the honor of I played against Terrelle Pryor my junior year of high school. He was a senior and I was a junior, and we went up to Jeanette, and it was the night that he was honored with going into the high school All-American game. He was honored before the game, and they absolutely wrecked us, then went on to win a state championship. So I didn't feel too bad.
Yeah, it said it was even he was a powerhouse of football, but they said watching him play basketball was even more electrifying. He'd do these self oops to himself and dunk it one hand. I don't know. I would have loved to watch him play, but
A lot of people don't realize this is, I was a teacher and I was working down at Mapletown for a while, and our security guard was one of his AAU coaches, Terrelle Pryor's. And when he was
really,
a kid growing up, his AAU team for, young basketball was the security guard's son, who went on to play Division I basketball at Buffalo, Cam Hayward for the Steelers, John Baldwin, who was a first-round pick in the NFL, and DeJuan Blair, who led Pitt to like a Big East title and played in the NBA.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
It's a small
crazy
world,
team. Yeah.
It really is, honestly. Like whenever you like me and you, like you coached me or you coached against me in 8th grade. I mean, it's a small world.
It really is. And, you went on this past year, you had a great career before then. And, not saying this because, you're here on the show or I'm talking to you right now, is I remember when you were in 8th grade, I was pounding the table. I'm like, this is the next kid. Like, this is the next kid who's going to be a 4,000-yard rusher and, in the WPIAL, and he's going to be one of those great players. And people were like, we'll see, it's West Greene, who knows? And I knew it. You could see it, like, from your size. You were always a big kid, but you could see like how you played. Like, you were determined, you were fast, you were quick, but you were also big and strong. You just had this beautiful blend of determination with physical God-given gifts. And to see a kid like you succeed is always nice because you're a great young man. So you're one of the kids that you want to see succeed in this world.
Thank you.
That's no problem.
Definitely. I've always gotten that. Well, we'll see. I've always gotten that. So it's nice to know that there's some people out there that had a little bit of faith in me. but I'm still getting some of that now. But I have a lot to prove. I know that, and hopefully I can prove some of that to some doubters that I have. But also reinsure some of those encouragers and those supporters that I have as well.
Yeah, and for people that aren't aware, like I said, you had a great career, but your senior season, you went on to rush. You eclipsed over 3,000 rushing yards and 50 rushing touchdowns. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. How did that feel to just finish off your high school career with a playoff win? Which, I mean, when's the last time West Greene had a playoff win before this year?
1993, I believe.
So to do that, with that size of a school, how'd that feel to end your high school legacy that way?
It felt good. I always feel like I always wish there could be just one more year. There's always that thought, just one more year. If we had one more year, but no, I mean, going out with a bang with my team, we won our first playoff game in 25 something years, and it was nice, especially winning with those guys. We'll definitely go down as one of the better teams to come out of West Greene, without a doubt. There's always going to be that talk, that conversation on what team's going to be the best that comes out of West Greene. We'll definitely be in that conversation. We've had some of the best players come out, so it wasn't all just me this season. It was me. It was Colin Walker, Brock Bedillion, Andrew Litton, Gavin Scott, Austin Krause. We had all these players, Gregory Staggers, and I don't know, it feels good to know that we went out trying our hardest.
Yeah, and luckily, you're fortunate enough where your skill set takes you to that next level where you don't have to say goodbye to the game right now. You get some extra time to play. But let me ask you this question. Are you the greatest running back in Greene County history?
No. No.
Who do you think it is? Rodney Wilson?
In all honesty, yep, Rodney Wilson. He was one of the most determined men I've ever watched. I've watched film on him, and you could just see the grit that he ran with. It wasn't anything I could do. I mean, like, I don't know. People look at me, but they're overlooking what Rodney Wilson did back in 1993.
And, there's been other great backs. The one that, before your senior season that I probably would have said was the best is Derek Bonham from Mapletown, who
Yep.
went on to play at Penn State,
Played at Penn
football and
State.
baseball. Another great back.
He did.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's just really cool to see
he
you eclipse 7,000 yards. And, you're one of I think you're top 10 all time on the WPIAL rushing list. So it's just cool to, have your name. It can't be taken down on that list.
That is cool. That's one of the things I'm going to miss, I wish I could, get a little bit higher on that list, but.
Sure. Now, here's a question for you. Do you feel like you were overlooked as far as college recruiting because you're from West Greene? You're from a single-way school.
I want to say, yeah, I do think I was overlooked by a lot of teams, to be honest with you. I did get some big time offers, right? But I think I was overlooked, and just for the fact that it is single way football, and people don't really think that kids from single way can make it big. But I mean, we've seen it happen before. Look at Tyler Boyd. They're from Clairton. I mean, he's the star at the Bengals right now. And not comparing myself to Tyler Boyd.
But I get what you're saying. It's a perfect.
I do think, I do think people saw me and saw, well, yeah, he's putting all these numbers, but he's also playing for single A. But they also don't see the behind the scenes. They don't see the hard work. They don't see all the effort that I was putting in, and they don't see. I don't think a lot of teams really saw that potential in me, where I know that I have it, and I just have to prove people wrong. Although I was offered by Army, West Point, and either way, that I wanted to go to one of the academies. For the longest time, I'll be honest, it was the Naval Academy, and now they're my enemy. But no, I couldn't have asked for a better offer. Even if all these big time schools were to give me an offer, I do think I would have went with West Point. I believe it's my duty to serve our country, and what better way to do it, to go to West Point, play football, get a great education, one of the best educations in the world. The job placement after school was 99.9. So
wow.
Yeah. So I think no matter what, I would have went with West Point.
Now, Army didn't recruit you as a running back. What did they recruit you as?
Well, for the longest time, it was running back. And then they're like, well, do you like linebacker? I said, yeah. Who doesn't like linebacker? Who doesn't like giving the hits instead of getting the hits? So they're like, all right, yeah, we think that you're going to be linebacker now. And so I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So they were recruiting me for inside linebacker, which would be awesome if I were to be inside linebacker. They're the ones who really run the defense, how know the scheme and everything, calls out the defenses. And but just recently I was talking to Coach Luce on the phone, and he said, hey, we might be looking at you at running back again. So I guess it's still up in the air. I think I'll be practicing both for a couple weeks, and then whichever one they feel I'll better succeed at is what I'll go into. But I'm happy with either. I love playing defense. I really do. Defense is, if I had to pick, honestly, I'd probably pick linebacker over running back. Not a lot of people know that, yeah. But I love defense. I love giving the hits. That's always a great feeling. But if they want me to play running back, I'll play running back. I'm happy with either one.
And that shows your versatility, the fact that you're playing high-level football, and they're like, you can either play, the Mike back, or you can play our tailback. We can, all over the field, really shows how just gifted you are as an athlete. And it also, your mindset of going like, no, I'm just a running back, or no, I'm just a linebacker. The fact that you're like, hey, where you need me is where I will play, shows a lot of maturity beyond your years. We'll ask for both positions, But growing up, was there any running backs that you really studied and trying to emulate their game?
Walter Payton, without a doubt.
Okay.
Walter, I know you have the Bo Jackson jersey in the background. Also, I love Bo Jackson. I do. And he's a great athlete. But Walter Payton is the man. In my eyes, Walter Payton's the best running back, hands down.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like I was kind of describing Rodney Wilson earlier. Walter Payton had that grit. He had that determination. He was fast, but he really put kids in the dirt and not kids, grown men in the dirt. If you just watch his highlights, he gets so low, and he really puts the hit stick, as people say, put the hit stick on men. He wasn't afraid of anybody, and I've watched all of his highlights, every single run. I've did my research. I know pretty much anything you can know on Walter Payton, but one of the interviews with the 1985 Chicago Bears defense, they said, we know Walter Payton's the best running back of all time because when other running backs were afraid of us in practice, he'd say, bring it on. And he would go after them. He wasn't scared. So
that's awesome.
That's why I try to run like him. I try to copy some of his moves. Like slowing down a little bit, letting his lead blocker in front of him, and then speeding back up.
Sure.
It's a great, but getting low, coming back up. I don't know. I really like Walter Payton a lot. He's a big inspiration to me.
And you can definitely see a lot of that in your running style, where you're not built like a Barry Sanders. So instead of watching a Barry Sanders where, you could pick up stuff because, he's probably the best elusive back of all time, but you're taking somebody who's a well-balanced, could catch the ball, could run with power, could run with speed, could cut, which I think better suits your style. So that makes a ton of sense.
I agree.
Is there a linebacker or even just defensive player that you really studied as a young man?
I'm gonna sound like a Bears fan, but I'm not. I'm really not. But Dick Butkus, Lawrence Taylor, James Harrison for sure. Just all these different defensive players. I love watching them play. Them cutting off the edge, them playing their zone. I really enjoy watching their highlights, but I also like watching other defensive highlights like Troy Polamalu. Just the determination, the grit. That's what I really look for in these highlights, and that's what I like watching.
And again, you talk about the similarity between all those players, and it's that's that gritty, like almost kind of play with that like meanness, intensity. Troy Polamalu is a great example of a guy who was extremely soft-spoken off the field, but when he was on the field, he's chippy, he's getting into it. Just a different animal on and off the field. LT, one of the nastiest, players that you've ever seen, just looking to hurt you. Let's play a little game. Let's do some rapid-fire questions.
All right.
Okay.
I'm pretty competitive, so hopefully I can name these off quick. But
okay. Okay. So first question: what did you want to be as a kid?
NFL player.
NFL player.
Professional football player.
Sure.
Professional football player.
Favorite NFL player of all time?
Walter Payton.
Favorite NBA player of all time?
Oh, Larry Bird.
Okay. Least favorite sport?
Soccer.
Favorite personal sports moment of your life so far?
Beating California this year. The 2019 season, beating California.
Okay. Why is that?
Okay, so beforehand, California was always the powerhouse. In 2017, they went deep into playoffs, and they're really quite a good team. But my freshman year, we had the opportunity to get to playoffs for the first time in, at that time, 23 years, I believe. And all we had to do was beat California at senior night, our home field. And if we beat California, then we go to playoffs. Well, they ended up beating us, and they knew that if we beat them, then we were going to go to playoffs, and they made it evident, and they made sure that we weren't going to playoffs. And so I kind of took that personal. I remember the players talking smack, and it's just a game, I know, but I did take that a little personal, and it's not like they just beat us. They beat us by 40. So I kind of had that in the back of my head the next year. And coming back the next year, that's when they had their run in the playoffs, and they were really quite a great team.
Sure.
But I broke my leg that year. I didn't get to play against them, and so that kind of added fuel to the fire. My junior year, so they beat us my sophomore year as well. My junior year, we played them, and it was for the section title. So at the time, it was Monessen beat California by 10 points. We beat Monessen by 10 points. And so if we beat California, then we would hold the section title for ourselves. Whereas if California beat us by 10, then it would be a three-way tie. And so all of us would be, section champions.
Sure.
So they ended up beating us by exactly 10, if I remember correctly. And that's a game we should have won. We didn't win. If that would have been a home game, it was at California. If that would have been a home game, I think it would have been a little bit different. And a lot of people don't know that. Even in single A, home field advantage is so crucial. I think having your home crowd there really gives your team motivation to move forward. But not blaming everything on where the location was. We didn't execute. It was a game we should have won, and we didn't. So that was even more fuel on the fire. So our senior year, playing with all these some of my best friends, like I mentioned earlier, we all had that in the back of our head. We all had that determination that, hey, we need to, in order to be good, we need to beat the team that has been beating us the past 3 years. And so that's what we went out and said, that was our goal, and that's what we did. And we didn't just beat them. We beat them by quite a few points. Not meaning to brag a little bit, but they were doing it to us the past 3 years, and so we decided to do it back finally. But no, that was a good win for us, knowing that we could beat a team and overcome a team that's been really a great team the past 3 years.
And that's cool, and that makes a ton of sense. Of kind of that's when you finally get on the mountaintop, and you take down your rival, if you will. So that's cool. Favorite sports movie?
Sports movie. Probably remember the Titans.
Okay. Favorite TV show?
TV show. Let's see, that's hard. Psych. I'll say Psych.
Okay. Favorite type of music?
Country.
Favorite artist?
Either George Strait or Toby Keith.
Okay. Least favorite food that everybody else likes?
Salmon or tuna.
Okay.
I don't know why, but nobody likes salmon. I love it.
Okay. Best place to get a burger?
To get a burger. My dad's house here. My dad makes a good burger.
And then last one, celebrity crush.
Crush? Ooh. I grew up in that era of Wizards of Waverly Place, so Selena Gomez.
Okay. I want to thank you for coming on the show today. I appreciate it. It was cool getting to sit down with you, a fellow Greene County guy, just talk some shop, talk some football. I know all Greene County is wishing you the best at Army, so the best of luck. And again, I appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. That was awesome.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it, man. And guys, remember, if you liked the episode, please, you're helping me out. You're helping the athletes out. Click the like button. Make sure you subscribe. and just continue to check out our content. And I'll see you guys next time.